Marqos chapter 15. And immediately in the morning, the chief priests had a council meeting with the elders and scribes and all the council. Having bound Yahusha, they led him away and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, "Are you the sovereign of the Yahudim?" And he answered and said to him, "You say it." And the chief priests accused him of much, but he made no answer. And Pilate again asked him, saying, "Have you no answer? See how much they witness against you." But Yahusha still gave no answer, so that Pilate marveled. And at a festival he released to them one prisoner, whomever they were asking. And there was one called Barabbas, chained with his fellow rebels, who had committed murder in the uprising. And the crowd, crying aloud, began to ask, as he had always done for them. But Pilate answering them, saying, "Do you wish me to release for you the servant of the Yahudim?" For he knew that the chief priests had handed him over because of envy. And the chief priests stirred up the crowd, that he should rather release Barabbas to them. And Pilate answered and again said to them, "What then do you wish me to do to him, whom you call the sovereign of the Yahudim?" And again they cried out, "Impale him." And Pilate said to them, "Why, what evil has he done?" And they vehemently cried out, "Impale him." And Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas to them. And having whipped him, he delivered Yahusha over to be impaled. And the soldiers led him away into the court, which is the palace. And they called together the entire company of soldiers, and decked him with purple. And they plaited a crown of thorns, put it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Greetings, sovereign of the Yahudim." And they kept beating him on the head with the reed, and were spitting on him, and bending the knee. They were bowing down to him. And when they had mocked him, they took the purple off him, and put his own garments on him, and led him out to impale him. And they compelled a passerby, Shimon, a Cyrenian coming from a field, father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his stake. And they brought him to the place Golgotha, which is translated place of a skull. And they were giving him wine mixed with myrrh to drink, but he did not take it. And when they impaled him, they divided his garments, casting lots for them, what each one should take. And it was the third hour, and they impaled him. And the inscription of his accusation was written above, "The sovereign of the Yahudim." And with him they impaled two robbers, one on his right and the other on his left. And the scriptures was filled, which says, "And he was reckoned with the lawless." And those passing by were blaspheming him, shaking their heads and saying, You who destroyed the dwelling place and build it in 3 days, save yourself and come down from the stake." And likewise the chief priests and the scribes, mocking to one another, said, "He saved others. He is unable to save himself. The Messiah, the sovereign of Israel, come down now from the stake, so that we see and believe." And those who were impaled with him were reproaching him. And when the 6th hour came, darkness came over all the land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which is translated, my El, why have you forsaken me?" And some of those standing by, when they heard it, said, "See, he is calling for Eliyahu." And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a reed and offered it to him to drink, saying, "Leave him. Let us see if Eliyahu does come and take him down." And Yahusha cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last. And the veil of the dwelling place was torn in two from top to bottom. And when the captain who was standing opposite him saw that he cried out like this and breathed his last, he said, "Truly this man was the son of Elohim." And there were also women watching from a distance, among whom was also Miriam from Magdala, and Miriam the mother of Jacob the Less, and of Yosef and Shalomah, who also followed him and attended him when he was in Galilee, and many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem. And when evening had come, because it was preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Yosef of Ramathayim, a prominent council member who was himself waiting for the reign of Elohim, came, boldly went into Pilate and asked for the body of Yahusha, but Pilate wondered whether he was already dead. So summoning the captain, he asked him if he was already dead. And when he learned this from the captain, he gave the body to Yosef. And he, having bought fine linen, took him down and wrapped him in the linen. And he laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out of rock, and rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. And Miriam from Magdala and Miriam, the mother of Yosef, saw where he was laid.